Perfect. Thank you so much, Ekaterina. And thank you everyone for joining. And if you are going to be watching this back later, please feel free to also take the Mentimeter. I'm just looking to get a little bit of insight about how much you know about AI and what your thoughts are currently about AI. So if you would have a go at that now, that would be fantastic. Hopefully you can now all see the results as they're coming through. Fabulous. Oh, I see lots of thumbs. Thank you so much. In the Mentimeter, I just wanted to get an idea of kind of where you're feeling confident or less confident where it comes to AI awareness. So I can see there that we've got some. So you can see already where people are feeling kind of more or less confident. So super interesting. Okay, so it feels like generally people are feeling more confident about where understanding general concepts of AI. So that's great. And also potential threats and how to create resources and materials. So that's where you're feeling more confident, but maybe feeling less confident about how to use AI in teaching to personalize learning. Okay, that's really interesting. And using okay, that's getting even less confident as people submit their results. Fantastic, super interesting. And maybe, okay, also slightly less confident about using it in the classroom. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. That's really interesting. So for today, thank you guys all for joining. As Ekaterina said, my name is Morgan D. I'm the Director of AI and Data Science at Educate Ventures Research. And my plan for today, we have a short session. I was going to talk to you a little bit about AI and AI in education, and a little bit about what we're calling an AI roadmap and why that might be of interest to really any organization, how to plan to use AI, and with a focus on kind of impact, ethics, and making sure that the technology is really working for you. So first of all, I just wanted to say a little bit about Educate Ventures Research. We are a team that kind of specializes in the Golden Triangle, which is building a community of where we bridge the gap between edtech, education, and researchers. So everyone that works at Educate Ventures Research will have background in at least one or two of these areas, and we come together to bring together our speciality and expertise to really help make sure that evidence is a priority in education. And that's no different when it comes to AI, thinking about making a lasting impact and making sure we're using the right technology for the challenge that we want to kind of attempt to solve. So that ethos really underpins our organization, our approach to all technology and to AI. So thinking here about educational challenges, why might we want to use AI in education? And there's so many kind of challenges that we might be kind of facing at the moment, different priorities for different organizations. But for example, equity in education, is this something that could be addressed with AI? Time restraints on educators has been discussed a lot over the last year. Is AI finally going to allow educators to have more time to spend on the things that they want to prioritize? So also thinking about student engagement, student and staff well-being. So lots of challenges and lots of promises being made. Promises of personalized learning for all, reducing teacher workload, improving equity, and kind of really fast creation of high quality content. And I think everyone will agree over the last year, we've seen lots of advice on different areas, and educators and everyone really trying to grapple with how we use AI to solve these kind of challenges and to help us all in our work. So I'm going to just talk about our approach at EVR and how we think that AI might be coming into education. So we like to think of it in three different ways. We like to think of AI coming into education through AI tools. So there'll be EdTech, AI-powered tools, and thinking about how many EdTech tools are now leveraging AI to try and tackle some of the biggest challenges facing us in education. So that's one way that artificial intelligence might be coming into education. Another way is thinking about how we live alongside AI. So how do we think about, is education preparing our students, our learners, to really focus on celebrating their human intelligence and really identifying what makes us fantastic as humans, and also how to leverage AI, how to use AI themselves and prepare them for a future work environment where they'll be working alongside AI. So either focusing on the skills that they need to have, or focusing on how they can use AI themselves. And then lastly is thinking about how do we educate people about AI. So that might be our educators, that might be our learners. So really what we'll be thinking about there is how to use AI safely and effectively, how to make AI models and AI products ourselves. So that's kind of the three ways that we look at AI coming into education. Right. And how thinking about how they then might come back to our challenges and how we might be able to start tackling these sorts of challenges. Something that's been talked a little bit less about, talked about a little less over the last year, is what AI means for humans. What does it mean in terms of human intelligence? What does it mean? Are we going to be automated? Are we going to be replaced? Are our jobs at risk? And there's been a lot of fear and panic, but we like to really kind of dig down to about this and think about what does that mean in terms of education. So here I've tried to maybe demonstrate a little bit the difference between human and artificial intelligence. So human intelligence, there are a lot of parts of human intelligence shown at the bottom here in terms of metacognition, meta-knowing, self-efficacy. These are all parts of human intelligence that are not currently done by artificial intelligence, and in my opinion are unlikely to be something that artificial intelligence does well. Now, what artificial intelligence does incredibly well might be knowledge recall or pattern detection. And so I think what's important to take away at this moment is the education that we're providing learners with, are we promoting the kind of skills that are human intelligence only, that can't easily be automated? Do we need to think about promoting those sorts of skills? And so taking a moment and thinking about education and really what we want to prioritize. An example that I like to use is something called digital amnesia. So, for example, I mean, you can wave at me if you use SatNav. I know that I've been using SatNav when I drive around. We now have evidence to demonstrate that the neurons in your brain that manage your ability to navigate space, kind of map read as it were, or know your directions, those neurons show less activity as a result of using SatNav. So this I find really interesting, and as I said, is referred to as digital amnesia. So why I mention this is when we think about AI in education, or we think about AI in the workplace or in any organization, we need to think about making a conscious decision. Do we want to hand over this skill? It might be navigating in a car. Do we want to hand over that skill to an AI? Or is that something that as humans we want to retain? Are we going to say, no, that's a skill we don't want to give up. We want to keep practicing that. We want it part of our education system, or we want it part of our workplace because it's important that it's done by humans. Or are we happy to give it up? And I think that over the last year, I'm seeing more and more discussion about this kind of purposeful choice of what do we want to give to AI and what do we want to keep for ourselves. One last thing that I also want to mention before I talk a little bit more about the AI roadmap are ethical concerns. So especially when it comes to education, we need to think about data privacy. So when we're using AI or developing AI, are we thinking about how we protect our users? Obviously, this is important in any situation, but it's particularly important when we're thinking about children. It's also worth mentioning rights of a child, and age-appropriate tech. A lot of the technology and these models that are being used in currently with children were not originally designed to be used by children. So just thinking about what was the purpose when that AI model was designed? What was it designed with what kind of target audience or target activity was it designed with, and thinking about how that might impact your choice of how you might want to use it. And I think actually I've seen some kind of improvement in this recently, where I feel like more organizations are trying to be transparent about what kind of technology is powering their products. So for initially, there was a lot of, oh, okay, we're AI powered, which is fantastic. But now we're seeing more organizations trying to give more insight into actually what's going on. And I think that's fantastic, because as we move towards a point where there's going to be maybe guidelines and policy that actually are binding and organizations have to stick to, when we're seeing people moving in that direction where they're going to have to be more transparent so people can make educated choices about what technology they want to use. So that was my very quick tour, a little bit about AI in education. I just want to also now talk about how we're working with various organizations, and that will bring me on to our AI roadmap. So first of all, if we have any educators here or anyone working in schools, we have been spending a lot of time over the last year working with schools and discussing with them their needs. And so from all these conversations, we've developed these 3 different offerings that we are working on. So we have AI Essentials, where we come in and we work with teachers or school leaders so that they can have a moment to make sure they understand the fundamentals, make sure they're thinking about how they can really assess the benefits and advantages of using AI in teaching, but also if there are any risks and how they might protect learners, and make sure that they are addressing any kind of safeguarding concerns so that everyone can feel confident in exploring the AI options are out there. I know that everybody is hearing a lot about AI, and allow people to feel confident about where they might start developing it and adopting that into their practice. And then we have a kind of more strategic offering. So this is a taking a moment to really think about having time to consider a more strategic approach. So how you might, as an organization, make a long-term plan of how you might use AI in your organization. So that might be about what AI tools you want to use, and making sure there's really clear guidance for everyone in an organization of when they can and can't use AI, but also thinking about how that might work in terms of how you use your data, how you might want to use AI in kind of less visible ways within the school, or how you might want to incorporate into your curriculum too. So that's what we're kind of doing for schools. In terms of our AI roadmap, so this is a new course that we've developed over the summer that we have just started running. And this is helping organizations to build an AI roadmap. So this course that we've just started is 5 workshops. And this is a very practical course about helping people really get to grips with AI and how it might be able to benefit your organization. So I'm going to talk you a little bit through this, and then show you some of the kind of diagnostic tools that we've developed to help people understand where their organization is and what might be the best next step. So this was developed by our data science team. So we've got Rose Luckin, our founder. She's a professor at UCL and has over 30 years experience working in AI and how AI should be used in education and learning science. So she has an incredible amount of experience in AI, and she has led our team in designing this session. You also have me, who also teaches some of the sessions. And then we have Ibrahim and Madiha, our data engineer and data scientists who also make an appearance, and we also have Abayomi and Ali. So between us, we will be joining for the 5 sessions. So we have our first session is learning about Rose Luckin's 7-step framework of AI readiness, and of course addressing generative AI. So we'll spend the first 2 hours looking at that. We then go on to think about how we might harness the power of AI and become an AI-driven organization. So really understanding what that means. The next two workshops, 3 and 4, are actually thinking about really narrowing down. So by the end of workshop 2, an organization that would have joined us will have a really good idea of when it's appropriate to use AI and maybe start to think about what technology might be appropriate. So which problems are more suitable. And then workshop 3 and 4 is all about really understanding what technology is available. And so a lot of the choice of what technology you might want to use is going to come down to, well, your strategy. So things like what kind of timeline you're working on, what kind of budget you're working to, but also about skill sets. So we really dig into if you think about what skill set your staff already have, and amazingly, this is an area that people are often very passionate about. So you might find there's a lot of hidden skill sets that you hadn't realized. So that's been really exciting to uncover. But then in workshop 4, we managed to pull that all together to think about what options are there out there. For some organizations, it might be that you want something straight off the shelf. You want it to just work. You don't have the expertise in-house, but you're really ready to use AI. However, there might be other organizations that want to do something a lot more specialized, a lot more personalized, and we kind of help them plan out how they might use it in that way. And then last but not least, deployment, which I think is really about how you kind of make sure your AI stays relevant and effective and makes the impact that you're looking for, how you might link it to data collection as well. And then, of course, ethics and regulation. So again, there's another framework been developed by our founder, Rose Luckin, about how to develop tech and AI ethically. It's like fantastic practical steps, questions you can ask yourself, and making sure that that's really kind of embedded in every stage of leveraging AI. And then, of course, regulations. We go through all the updates of what kind of regulations are coming in, how you might adhere to them, like what do you need to do now, but what do you need to think about doing over the next few years, like what's kind of coming in to make sure you can kind of stay ahead and make sure you're feeling prepared. So just wanted to share the outcomes that I would hope that each person that would join us would achieve. So as I said, it's about looking at this AI readiness framework, understanding where you are, then having your personalized next steps. And then making sure this second point I think is so important, really understanding which challenges are AI appropriate and which are maybe not, so you can best use AI within your organization, all the way through to making sure that you're able to describe the potential value. So that's where our AI roadmap really helps with that. So kind of our standout points are here that we've got this framework that's really fantastic with an amazing kind of resource that comes afterwards of personalized next steps, some diagnostics we've created to make sure you're really clear on where your team are, and this AI roadmap that I'm going to show you a bit about now. So this is the 7 steps. We have educate, enthuse, excite, tailor and hone, identify, collect, apply, learn, and iterate. So we talk about each of those steps and where your organization might have got to and what might be a good area for you to focus on next. So for example, with the last cohort that I worked with, for example, a lot of those organizations, one of their next steps might be to do an audit of AI literacy skills. So that seemed to be a priority. It wasn't visibility across the organization of like how confident people were using AI, and they felt like some people were kind of really confident and using it quite often day to day, whereas others maybe were kind of too scared to try or didn't feel that they needed it. So taking that moment to say, okay, I think an audit is a really good way for us to start our next step. I think people found that really useful. So our AI roadmap, again, identifying your problem, making sure that it's appropriate to start using AI to solve that problem, and thinking about how practically you can start that journey. And so that when you come away with your roadmap, you're able to communicate to everybody else in your organization, this is the problem we want to solve using AI, and this is how we do it. We have actual next steps that are practical and we can work through together. So what we do in each workshop is we answer lots and lots of questions together, really getting to the bottom of your organization, your strategic goals, and you have me and the rest of my team that are able to say, okay, do you know this machine learning model might be really appropriate for that task, or this new AI product is a good thing to use here. So you've got a lot of contact time with me and my team where we can say, these are the kind of technologies that you might want to consider. And I have to say, I'm always very proud at the end where, obviously at the beginning, I'm having to make a lot of suggestions, but after our sessions together, I really felt like the organizations that have joined us are able to kind of start making those suggestions themselves. And I felt, really pleased that they felt empowered to go on and kind of make those decisions themselves. So so we write it all down together so they can make sure this document can be taken away and communicated effectively with the rest of the organization. This is a bit of insight in some of our tools. So these are the diagnostics I talked about. So you get a report. I think there's 3 diagnostics in total. And you can see that you get little recommendations you can click on where you get a PDF with your next steps. And that's what it looks like on the phone. So yeah, just a summary of kind of why I think I've really enjoyed teaching the course and why I think it's really been well received is that there's, between us, we have over 100 years of experience working with AI, which makes me feel very old. And we also have experience advising over 300 edtech companies. So we have used that to design these diagnostics. But in addition to the diagnostics and the advice you'll get from the diagnostics, you also have 10 hours with us where we can answer all your questions. And that's all kind of summarized in our roadmap. And here is some of the feedback we've had from our recent customers. And again, I think the bits that I feel kind of really pleased about is they felt that they kind of were leaving with a better understanding and more confidence and understanding, that generative AI isn't the only AI available. And actually for the problems that are strategically important to those organizations, there might be other kind of AI or technology that's kind of more going to be more impactful for their challenges. So that was probably my biggest the thing that made me happiest when I finished the courses with the organizations we work with. So if there's something that would interest you, I've left a QR code here. If you're interested to join us to discuss your strategic challenges and how you might want to kind of implement an AI roadmap and an AI solution, then I'd obviously love to talk to you more about that. But we have a little bit of time now as well. So please feel free to pop any AI questions in the chat and I will do my best to answer them as well. So ask away. Okay, well, thank you so much. I really hope that was helpful. And it was really lovely to discuss some of your ideas. And if you have any questions, please either use the QR code or just reach out via our website.
Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic day.